Johnny Fontana. Half amazing discussions. Just came out of LA Fitness, man. Remember, you always got to stay fit, stay hustle, right? Mind, body, and control over your actions, mental focus, fortitude, right? It's all about progress and maintenance. Now, I want to talk about something that I've been observing. See, because my job, right, in life is to observe. That's just my personality type. I look into certain things, I make connections. May not always make them as quick as I want, but when the I start to feel the energy, the rumblings, the talk, then I start doing a little bit more research, and then things to start to pop up and start to sort of I start to see things in different perspectives. Now, doesn't mean that I'm always 100% correct, and number two, it doesn't always necessarily mean that my stance will always remain the same. All right, so I never speak in absolute. In certain aspects, I may come across as that, but just remember that there is no such thing as absolute, and things always change, and it's always a constant progress and rotation. All right. Now, what I'm going to talk about is how the actual Asians are out hustling the Black Americans. All right. Asians in particular, because it's very, very important. And I've been studying how they do certain things, and I'm not going to go too deep, and obviously not into the economics or into certain other factors, but just from a plain old point of view so that everyone can understand, right? Just speaking in layman's terms, that everyone at any age range and educational capacity can understand, right? Here's what I've noticed. First of all, when they come, many of them don't come with a whole lot of money. All right, I would say there's a good percentage. I don't speak in stats. I don't know stats. I don't know numbers. But just keep in mind that many of them come without any wealth, in the sense of owning land, any distributions here or whatever. And a lot of them have come. They've come with limited funds, okay, limited cash flow in their pockets. So you wonder, okay, so how do they survive? Like, what do they do? Like, how do they come? Well, they already have people that have been here, that have been thriving, that have set up businesses, okay, that are working, okay, and so they will create a system, a working system by which one person comes, two people come, they gather their resources, start building businesses, get a home. Then family members, two at a time, will come down. They'll stay with these individuals while many of them may have had businesses over there. Okay, now remember, for those of you that come here, many of them do have resources from up top. Okay, whether they have businesses or they have a trade. Okay, whether it be they're good with their hands, they're good with something. So they have the educational background coming from their place of origin. When I say education, it doesn't necessarily mean academic education. It can be just skill sets, knowledge of self, knowledge of social dynamics, understanding how things work and so forth. So it's not only limited to the academic education. Okay, now many of them, they come down, they have skills. What they do, they tag on with companies that will allow them to work. Okay, so you have some individuals, they do construction, they're good with art, okay, they're good with their hands, so they may join these nail polish salons, they may cook, they may end up in construction businesses, okay. So from there, they gather their funds and they control their money. They're very conservative, okay. They build their work. They don't go around spending a whole lot of money on sneakers and stuff like that, because that's not part of their culture. Now remember, this is not something that we need to sit here and say, oh well, we're going to beat up on Black Americans. Yeah, we can do that because we all get passionate and we all love to fight amongst ourselves and challenge each other, because that's just how it is, right? When we're brothers and sisters, yeah, we talk shit, and it's just about tough love, right? So we get at each other, but at the end of the day, we're here for each other. So a lot of these individuals, they don't do as the Black Americans, and because they're not from that culture. And when I say the culture, it's like it's unfortunate, but that's part of who the Black Americans are and the blacks in general are. Okay, they can just come from that culture based on a lot of other stuff. Okay, and that's kind of hard to just overcome that and just pull up your pants and get away from spending all your money. Yeah, you can tell that to people, but when it's all around you, it's very difficult. So I need to get that out of the way so people understand that it's not just a matter of just changing because it's not part of our culture. Okay, it's not part of the tradition. So, but I'm explaining to you how the other ones do it so that you can now start to say, okay, hey, this is what we're doing compared to them, and maybe we can make some changes within our own self. We can't change the community, we can't change everyone. It's all about changing each individual so that that individual can pass it on to theirs, and then from there, it's a natural selective process rather than trying to change the whole community, right? And it's going to take generations. So now they come down there. I've seen it firsthand. Come down, they live in these people's homes, in their families' homes, and it may not be their immediate family. So let's say the husband, he came down, he married someone that was already here, take her in. Then now he'll come in and he'll support the wife's family. They'll come down and you'll have a whole lot of cousins and uncles and all these people that you're like, well, how are you all related? Oh no, that's my wife's. So there's no such thing as, oh well, you know, when just because you're my aunt's cousin, you're my wife's, cousin, we're not gonna take you in. No, they're coming in, children and everything, and they sleep 4 or 5 to a bedroom. When they have birthdays, they invite everyone, all come together like a weekend basis. Like they spend a lot of time together, drinking, eating together, and they all sit down and do karaoke, right? So it's a sense of camaraderie, sense of togetherness, okay, while they're building resources. And not only that, the brothers come down. The brothers now work with the guys that are here. They build their resources, all right? Because now the brother now picks up his own business. He starts his own thing, develops his wealth through contacts. It's not because he's such a big dude, whatever. He just works contract. And a lot of these individuals are, guess what? A lot of his clients are the Asian community, right? And most specifically, those that he can communicate within his own language. So if he's Korean customers, clients. If he's Vietnamese clientele often, okay? Especially if it's not a big corporate business, if it's just a personal privatized business, that's what you get. So now you have all of that. Brothers work, same thing. Now they have individuals that are working for them. The Latino, okay? This is cheaper labor, all right? They're not paying them, whatever. They may be legal, but it's still cheaper, and then they're allowed to afford them because they do great work. So then from there, these guys, they purchase homes now that are here. They break out. Once they break out, now you have individuals that come in and replace them. Okay, it can be different family members, it can be different cousins, it can be immediate, it can be whatever, but there's just a constant rotation of people, and then that's how they're building their wealth. Now, when it comes to corporate now, okay, if you notice, you'll have, like I said, like a business like LA Fitness, right? LA Fitness starts off, opens up in October. You have certain managers that come in, whatever. Then all of a sudden you have now a main manager which is Asian. Okay, fine. There's a large influence of Asians around the area. Then all of a sudden you start to see another Asian, right? Who works his way through management. It's like, oh, okay, cool, I see. Doing his thing. You have more Asian community members applying, and all of a sudden now you have an Asian front desk now. You have 2 Asian managers, front desk, Asian. So now, guess what? All right, that sense of camaraderie, sense of togetherness. Oh, we have Asians, we have Asian faces. But here's what they're doing now compared to the black folks, right? What they're doing is that not only are they applying themselves and putting themselves in these positions, whether it be by default or not, but it's indirect. It's just part of their culture. So it's just a natural effort that they do in order to bring it to, because they've been doing it for years, because we don't have that togetherness. So it's like second nature. They come in and they do it, right? Now, what happens is that you have to realize, you say, oh, well, the Asian, so how come, why they're different than the blacks or whatever? Because the Asians, what they do is that they're like, they're what do you call it again? They adapt, Okay, they're like we call these people where they maintain their own culture, but they adapt to their environment. So they change in order to fit in. So that's why many of them they speak good English. Okay, they'll come across like like Americans. They have that sort of American way about them, right? So they hire these guys so when they speak, they can speak proper. It's like, hey, how you doing? Welcome to LA Fitness. Welcome to Walmart. Welcome to such and such, whatever. So it's not like they're sitting. They have their own culture. They really thrive on it. Not to say that blacks don't have that, but remember, blacks aren't building in the sense that they are. So now with their education, because they're going to school, Asians are going to school, now they find out, oh, you're going to such and such school, oh, you're going to this, you're applying for engineer school, yes, I'm doing this, whatever. So they apply their selves, the way they dress, right? They're able to sort of functionalize in a way that other people can look at them and not really look, even though they're Asian, but it's like a sort of thing, it's very subconscious where they look at that. So it's not really a thing of, because it's always passing, right? Remember, these situations are passing, so people don't have to live with each other. So, and it's a service that they provide, and so you have to understand the dynamics between having to live with someone, work in an environment, versus a passing dynamic where people are just coming in to use their services. Okay, so when they use the services, there's no real racism involved because, or bias involved, because it's not there. It's not so deep. The dynamics is just basically passing. I'm providing you a service. You're doing for me what I need for you to do, and so there's no real need for that. You know what I'm saying? The oddity, it's not there. So yeah, so and then from there it just becomes these guys move up, move up, move up, and they're able to. So for example, I'll give you a prime example. You see that guy coming right now? That's a good friend of mine. Okay, he's one of the managers. All right, so now he was able to have me DJ here, but he can make things happen. So he goes from here, and then corporate had him go to the other LA Fitness to be one of the managers and stuff like that. So, but the way he speaks, he got the tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Like you would never think, even though he's Asian, but he's the one that helps everything happen. What's going on, brother? Everything all right?
Oh, fine.
Pretty good, man. Place to be.
Huh?
So you're the man, the place to be, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So you see what I'm saying to you, right? That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, so you see, like, and that wasn't it wasn't even prepared. That's just how it happened. So I got the DJ here, and you start to see these things. So you involve yourself in these places. So now, if I want to now bring my DJ friends and say, hey, listen, you want to DJ here? You want to do your thing here? They'll be able to come up and do their thing, right? And apply themselves. And if they want to be able to build on that, and be able to get gigs and do all that kind of crazy stuff, they'll be able to do it as well. So, like I said, man, this is how they do it, right? But it's ingrained. You have to understand. It's not something that a lot of it, yes, it's mentioned, of course, during dinner and stuff like that, conversations. They talk about it. They say, yeah, but it's not like forced upon them. It's just it's become so natural now that they become part of it. So it's like talking, right? Like I'm able to talk, I'm able to do this at the same time. I'm able to speak, I'm able to look over there at the same time while I'm talking to you, while I'm actually having a conversation, while I'm moving my finger. So all of these things, it's just integrated. So for them, it's just a natural selection for them, a natural process. So they don't even think about it. They just know to go to it. And which we don't have, unfortunately, as many blacks, Caribbean, whether it be Caribbean or whether it be of any other descent, cultural descent, right? So just to keep in mind, I don't want to keep going on too long, but I just really want you to understand and see how things are going. All right, Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing Discussions. If you have any questions, man, like I said, I'm not going too deep. I'm not into the depth, into the economics and numbers and stuff like that. That's not where I stand. I'm more of the social dynamics, psychology, understanding movement and just the human element rather than giving you numbers and stats and stuff like that. Other people can give you stats, but at the end of the day, stats doesn't really do anything for you, right? So, Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV, we out.